maximum current draw for a 60 amps double pole breaker is 60 amps. The voltage drop for a wire is determined by the following formula: voltage drop equals 2 times current times distance times resistance divided by voltage. Let's use the following values. Current is 60 amps. Distance is 300 feet. Voltage is 120 volts. Resistance of number 2 aluminum is 0.14 ohms per foot. Resistance of number 1 aluminum is 0.11 ohms per foot. Now let's calculate the voltage drop for number 2 aluminum. Voltage drop equals 2 times 60 amps times 300 feet times 0.14 ohms per foot divided by 120 volts, which equals 3.36 volts. Next we'll calculate the voltage drop for number 1 aluminum. Voltage drop equals 2 times 60 amps times 300 feet times 0.11 ohms per foot divided by 120 volts, which equals 2.64 volts. Based on these calculations, the voltage drop for both wire sizes is well below the acceptable limit of 5%. Ambient temperature can affect the current carrying capacity of a wire. However, in this case, the ambient temperature is not a major factor since the wire is being run in a detached garage, which is typically cooler than indoor spaces. In conclusion, based on the calculations, either number 2 aluminum or number 1 aluminum wire would be suitable for this application. Number 2 aluminum is the minimum size required to meet code requirements, while number 1 aluminum would provide a slightly better voltage drop performance. The choice between the two depends on factors such as cost and availability. When determining the appropriate wire size for electrical circuits, several factors must be considered to ensure safety and optimal performance. These factors include ampacity, voltage drop, ambient temperature, and the type of insulation. Ampacity refers to the maximum amount of current a conductor can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides tables that list the ampacity of various conductors based on their size, insulation type, and installation conditions. It is crucial to select a wire size with an ampacity rating that is equal to or greater than the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, protecting the circuit. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage that occurs along the length of a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction, reduce the brightness of lights, and decrease the efficiency of electrical systems. The NEC recommends limiting voltage drop to no more than 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. To calculate voltage drop, you can use the formula voltage drop equals 2 times current times distance times resistance divided by voltage, where current is the load in amperes, distance is the length of the conductor in feet, resistance is the resistance of the conductor in ohms per foot, and voltage is the source voltage. Ambient temperature is the temperature of the air or environment surrounding the conductor. Higher ambient temperatures can reduce the ampacity of a conductor, as the conductor will dissipate heat less effectively. The NEC provides correction factors to adjust the ampacity of conductors based on ambient temperature. It is important to apply these correction factors when installing conductors in hot environments, such as attics or direct sunlight. The type of insulation used on a conductor also affects its ampacity rating. Different insulation materials have different temperature ratings, which determine the maximum temperature the conductor can withstand without degrading the insulation. The NEC lists various insulation types and their corresponding temperature ratings. It is essential to select a conductor with an insulation type that is suitable for the application and the expected operating temperature. In the specific case of wiring a detached garage with a 60 amps double pole breaker located 300 feet away from the main panel, using either number 2 aluminum or number 1 aluminum wire would be acceptable based on voltage drop calculations. However, it is crucial to verify that the selected wire size meets all applicable NEC requirements and local codes. Firstly, determine the total load that the garage will be expected to carry. This includes lighting, receptacles, and any other electrical equipment that will be used in the garage. Calculate the total current draw based on the wattage of each load and the voltage of the circuit. Secondly, consult the NEC ampacity tables to determine the minimum wire size required to carry the calculated current. Ensure that the selected wire size has an ampacity rating that is equal to or greater than the 60 amps breaker protecting the circuit. Thirdly, calculate the voltage drop for both number 2 aluminum and number 1 aluminum wire using the voltage drop formula. Ensure that the voltage drop does not exceed 3% for the branch circuit. Fourthly, consider the ambient temperature in the garage and apply any necessary correction factors to the ampacity of the conductors. If the garage is located in a hot environment, it may be necessary to increase the wire size to compensate for the reduced ampacity. Fifthly, select a conductor with an insulation type that is suitable for the application and the expected operating temperature. Ensure that the insulation is rated for the voltage of the circuit and is resistant to moisture, chemicals, and other environmental factors. Sixthly, properly install the conductors in accordance with the NEC and local codes. Use appropriate connectors and terminations and ensure that the conductors are protected from physical damage. Seventhly, consider future expansion when selecting the wire size. If there is a possibility that the garage will be used to carry additional loads in the future, it may be prudent to upsize the conductors to accommodate the increased demand. Eighthly, factor in costs and availability when making the final decision on wire size. Number 2 aluminum wire is typically less expensive than number 1 aluminum wire, but it may not provide as much headroom for future expansion. Ninthly, it's important to understand that electrical codes and regulations are subject to change. Therefore, it is always recommended to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure that the wiring installation meets all applicable requirements. Tenthly, ensure that all electrical work is performed by a qualified electrician or individual with the necessary knowledge and experience. Improper wiring can create a fire hazard and pose a serious risk of electrical shock. Considering the potential for a direct short where it rains, it is crucial to address the underlying cause of the short circuit before rewiring the garage. A direct short indicates a fault in a wiring system such as damaged insulation or loose connections. Before proceeding with the rewiring, it is essential to identify and repair the source of the short to prevent future occurrences. Firstly, inspect the existing wiring for any signs of damage such as cracks, cuts, or abrasions in the insulation. Pay close attention to areas where the wiring is exposed to moisture or physical stress. Secondly, check all connections and terminations to ensure that they are tight and secure. Loose connections can create resistance, which can lead to overheating and short circuits. Thirdly, inspect the electrical equipment in the garage, such as receptacles, switches, and light fixtures, for any signs of damage or malfunction. Faulty equipment can also cause short circuits. Fourthly, if the source of the short cannot be easily identified, it may be necessary to use a multimeter or other testing device to trace the fault. A multimeter can be used to measure voltage, current, and resistance, which can help pinpoint the location of the short. Fifthly, once the source of the short has been identified, repair or replace the damaged wiring or equipment. Use appropriate materials and techniques to ensure that the repair is safe and reliable. Sixthly, after completing the repairs, thoroughly test the wiring system to ensure that the short has been eliminated. Use a multimeter or other testing device to verify that there are no continuity problems or ground faults. Seventhly, consider the location of the wiring when addressing the short circuit issue. If the wiring is exposed to moisture, it may be necessary to relocate it or provide additional protection to prevent future shorts. Eighthly, the original problem mentioned a direct short when it rains. This strongly suggests water intrusion into the electrical system. Addressing this water intrusion is paramount. Look for any points where water could be entering the garage, such as cracks in the walls or roof, leaky windows, or inadequate weather stripping around doors. Ninthly, once the water entry points have been identified, take steps to seal them and prevent further water intrusion. This may involve patching cracks, replacing damaged weather stripping, or installing a roof sealant. Tenthly, consider using weather-resistant electrical components in the garage, such as weather-resistant receptacles and light fixtures. These components are designed to withstand exposure to moisture and other environmental factors, which can help prevent short circuits. Remember to always disconnect the power before working on any electrical circuits. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, consult a qualified electrician to perform the repairs. Addressing the direct short issue is essential to ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system in the garage. Simply rewiring the garage without addressing the underlying cause of the short will likely result in the problem recurring in the future.